its own particular state. It is, in fact, a
When I heard Washington, like all the politicians go to Washington, I think it was Washington State.
Washington State is, that's where, that's the other side of the country. That's the West Coast. Washington State is Portland. Washington State is the Washington State is the epitome of our country's personal liberties exercise. Washington State actually produces the vast majority of our liberalism. Liberalism comes from the West Coast. The West Coast liberalism actually includes Washington State and California. Those two states are our most liberal states of all of the Union.
I feel that's where our politicians went to, Washington State.
They do serve a lot of coffee, so it makes sense.
But there's the confusion about Washington State versus Washington, D.C. Now, see, Washington, D.C. is the political seat of our country's government. However, the political seat of our country's government is actually in disagreement with our country's political government. That's very deep. Think about that for a minute. Which is the whole reason why I have a job. The only reason I have a job is because.
But if they get mad enough, you think they would try to secede?
Yeah, I mean.
There's no secede because Texas has tried to secede officially for the last 15 years. Texas has been trying to secede.
What's held them back then?
What's holding them back? The government. Washington, D.C. and the military state of control is what's holding them back.
So you think that if Texas seceded, they would basically invade Texas?
If Texas seceded, Texas would secede and become part of Mexico. Mexico would then overrun us. We're already at a risk of being overrun by Mexico. The problem is Mexico has people that are willing to work, whereas America has people that are willing to not work.
So you think Texas become part of Mexico? Like they would become their own country?
They would become their own, absolutely. But the United States of America, in other words, D.C., is unwilling to allow anyone to secede from the Union.
Oh, if it was me and I had.
But how does any one state have that much power over other states? That's the struggle that is happening right now. Remember the struggle is happening based on cannabis. The struggle is happening based on medical basis at this point in time. The struggle is happening based on the United States of America saying that cannabis is a Schedule I drug that should be combined with crack and should be combined with heroin, which is not correct.
So you think the whole struggle starts with cannabis, though? The reason Texas wants to secede from the Union?
Okay, let me back up to. Let's go back to the very beginning. Let's go back to the very beginning of Prohibition. What is Prohibition about? Prohibition is about taxation, right?
Well, didn't we come over here didn't we?
Taxation is the problem of, just like with alcohol.
Wasn't that Boston Tea Party?
Alcohol can be produced
Wasn't that part of the Boston Tea Party stuff too?
Taxation without representation.
Taxation without representation. Okay? Right now, we're in the exact opposite. We're in taxation, but we're being represented saying that we should be taxed higher than we should be for this product. We're in the exact opposite of taxation without representation. We're in the prospect of taxation to the benefit of Congress. That is where we're at right now.
You're up for no taxation, period.
No. I don't agree with that. Taxation is absolutely correct. Taxation is correct, and control is correct within reason. The rest of the international world understands the usage of medical cannabis as being a medical resource. So taxation of a medical resource is where the problem comes in.
Do you think the whole problem with America is we choose not to make it a federal law that should be legal?
That is absolutely correct. Actually, the problem is...
The whole problem with America is based on one law.
No. The whole problem with... it's hard to say it that way. Let me say it. The main problem with this is that America does not see how to tax it properly.
But it all revolves around marijuana.
It all revolves around taxation. Just like alcohol revolves around taxation. They finally resolved the taxation of alcohol, right? Now still, we have... You know as well as I do that there are still runners of alcohol that are producing alcohol outside the government's taxation of alcohol, because alcohol is a producible
I had no idea.
product. You can anyone can make alcohol. You can make alcohol. You can make alcohol. Anyone can make alcohol. Okay? The problem is that is an area where the government has trouble making laws to create their taxation for. Right now, we're in a fight with our Congress. Let me completely move from this subject. If we don't even talk about this at all, let's talk about this. Our current Congress, all right?
So who gets Congress to... I'm just asking.
Our current Congress is against the legalization of marijuana. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, why are they against that? The reason they're against that is because they can't figure out how to make money off of it. Remember, our Congress is a for-profit Congress. We have a for-profit jail system, we have a for-profit legal system, and we have a for-profit Congress system right now in America. That is our problem in America. How many people do you continually see the headlines? They were railroaded into a conviction where they've lost how much time in their life because of what? Because there is no control over the...
Let me ask you this then. What if they figured out and only had one or two, because you can't have one that be monopoly. But what if they had two companies that were only the two allowed to produce marijuana, and they were able to tax it that way?
That would be illegal in the real established parameters of our government. That would be illegal.
Well, if you had
actually,
if you had two, it would be a monopoly. So one
it would still be a monopoly, actually.
No, you have two competing interests.
Now,
That's not
technically,
monopoly.
our country is trying to state that two competing is reasonable because we have now. Let's move away from medical. Let's just walk over to. Let's just look at computer
What if we had
technology.
four? What if we had four?
No. Let's look at computer technology. How many companies are there that provide computer technology for us? How many operating systems do you have available to you on your computer? Let me ask you that. 2.
No.
Microsoft, Windows, and what? Apple. That's Safari.
You've got Linux. Linux. Your IT world relies off Linux.
No. I understand Linux because I program with Linux on a daily basis, but is there any operating system that works based on Linux? Is there an operating system that you can buy as a consumer based on Linux?
Red Hat.
Nope.
He's right.
There are only 2.
Yeah, he's right.
I'm sorry, there's only 2. And I know this because that is where my doctorate lies specifically.
What's the definition of monopoly?
What's the definition of a monopoly? Microsoft and Apple can both be considered a monopoly.
So one, you have to have one.
So why is our government not breaking up both of them? But no, they broke up AT&T. They broke up AT&T, but they didn't break up Apple. They didn't break up Microsoft, but they broke up AT&T. They broke up my Bell. You know, Bell Telephone.
When did they break up AT&T?
They broke up AT&T 10 years ago.
They broke it up because it was a monopoly?
They broke up AT&T. They broke up Bell Systems. They broke up Ma Bell. Bell was the original because Bell actually had ties to the original research developed into the technology that makes telecommunications possible today. But yet, they had to break up, and they had to break up. Now, technically, Ma Bell broke up into Bell South, Bell Communications, and then, of course, they've broken up into several other minor companies based on federal requirements. But technically, you know, if you look at it, Microsoft and Apple become the same thing. They are monopolies. You've only got 2 options in browsers, don't you? Safari?
No.
What is Firefox? Tell me, what is Firefox? Yes, you've got Firefox, you've got Internet Explorer, and you've got Safari. Technically, you've got 3.
Google Chrome.
Well, you've got
Avant.
Yes, but those are secondaries, and those are based on what? Microsoft. That's all Microsoft.
No, Chrome's not based off Microsoft.
Yeah, you can't run Chrome through.
It doesn't use the same extensions as. No, you can. Chrome you can run on Apple, but they're not. They don't run the same IE extensions.
There's Chrome. There's literally there's Chrome. There's Firefox. There's Microsoft, and there's Safari. Now, where do those 2 fall? Chrome is where?
Google.
Well, Chrome is Google, but Google is what?
They're an
Google is going to be the same as Safari. Safari and Apple are the same thing. And then you've got Internet Explorer, and what do you have after that?
You've got Chrome, which is Apple's, which is your base.
You've got Firefox and Chrome.
Chrome is
all based on
Google's API, which is
based on what?
A lot of your cell phones out there, which is Android, which is another operating system that's widely available.
Android is only available for those devices that he's holding in his hand right now.
You can install it on Intel processor machines.
It's only available for an Intel. What is an Intel? Intel is based on what technology? There's two basic technologies, and I'm waiting for you to say it because you're going to say it eventually. There's only 2 basic technologies in computers.
Well, it's on x86 architecture.
Nope.
That was
Nope. x86 is Windows.
no. Apple runs on
Chrome?
x86
Chrome is a virtual extension of the Safari device. Okay? There's technically only 4. Technically, there's only 2 versions of that. There's only 2 versions of code. If you come right down to it, there's only 2 versions of code. There's Microsoft version of code and there's Apple version of code.
Which, so you're saying
There's technically
you're talking
only
about like
2
C++,
versions of code.
C,
And technically,
talking
both
about
of-
C and Xcode.
technically, if you don't, you
Apple's-
might not be a programmer.
Apple's
Technically,
coding language is Xcode.
they're very similar. The variations between the 2 codes are so minor, is what I'm trying to say. The 2 variations on the code are so minor that there is literally, you could say there's no difference.
Well, since Apple took over using Intel processors,
No,
they
Apple,
went away from the
Apple-
PowerPC.
Apple was given a free pass